That shit still makes me laugh. I don't know. I don't know why it still makes me laugh. It's just me in a chair going like this. Oh, yeah. Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, which means it is Sunday. Sit down. Big B McFly, the comic guy in the house. Big B McFly, the comic guy, is in the house. Tyler. Well, thank you. Today's episode was brought to you by the Word of Todd, or the House of Todd, or the Todd Illuminati, the Todd Anonymity, whatever. The Todd Father, everything good. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I shot that a couple weeks ago, and I was just, waiting for the right moment in between flea market videos. I got to space the flea market videos out. But I'm really thankful because that episode today is doing really well. It's doing really, really well. And for a non-flea market, non-collection unboxing, all that stuff, I want to say thank you to everybody who watched, everybody who liked and commented. If you haven't, please find a place to post that. I posted it on the Spider-Man Reddit today. I jumped into the McFarlane Oddkey Discord and posted it in there, but I don't think anybody gave a shit. But if you know a place, like if you're on Twitter or you're active on a different, Facebook group, post it. Tag Todd. That's the most important thing, because if for some reason more people tag him, then maybe he sees it. Maybe he contacts, or his people call my people. I don't know. I want Todd on the program. Thank you, Mattis. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Anthony. And best line in the episode was, "Look at his lizard." Well, at least I didn't say, "Look at his snake." Could have been worse. Actually, I will start off the episode. I want to show you something fun. I'll show it probably at least one more time. But because we have a lot of people in here and we're already talking about Todd, I want to show you the alternate intro to the episode that I didn't want to use because I don't want that particular video to get a copyright strike. And so the beginning of the episode is the montage of me saying Todd. Here's the original one. I don't think I ever posted this. I don't think I ever showed anybody. So let's watch it. It's like 22 seconds. Todd the Todd Father. Todd talks. Todd talks.
Todd, you're indoors. Why you got sunglasses on?
So that actually is a song. There's a Nine Inch Nails song called Echoplex from their album The Slip. And even though I slowed the song down and I mixed it up a little bit, I just didn't want to take the chance that would have gotten a copyright strike. So I left it off, and you guys can see it here. If it gets a copyright strike it won't get a copyright strike on the live, because this is just a live video, so it doesn't really matter. If you build it, they will come. That is correct, David. That is correct. Well, yeah, I know. We could always save that for a different episode anyway. But yeah, I really enjoyed shooting that, obviously, and talking about Todd. That was just an overview of the ASM. So I'm planning on doing the dive into each one of his runs. But I'm also going to probably do episodes on specific issues. So I'll probably do one on the 298, 299, 300, and maybe even 316. We'll do the whole Venom thing. And then I'll do a dive into the assassination plot and all these different things. But that was just a way to kind of bring it in. Next up will be the Hulk run and things. I think what I'll do is the Hulk run, and then any Marvel comic covers and interiors he did that were not Spider books. Todd. Todd does have a lot of issues. So do I. Also, tonight at some point, I'm going to give away a CGC 9.8 pre-screen reject book. I'll give away, it's definitely getting rejected now. ASM 304 newsstand. I did a CGC submission recently. That was a 9.8 pre-screen. And I got the books back, and I got the rejects back. This is probably a 9.4, 9.6, but I'm going to give it away tonight at some point. So you can still see the reject sticker right there. Quasar, right? Quasar, Conan, all those different, the Daredevil 241. Needed as a fellow reject myself. Well, cheers to that. Tonight's beverage is just a cold jar of blood. Yes. Anywho, so that was a lot of fun this weekend, that episode, and I will be back on Wednesday doing my claim sale, and that's going to be the last claim sale of the month. Actually, no. Then I'm taking a week off because I will be at SummerCon. If you are in the Pacific Northwest and you are planning to go to SummerCon, I think my booth number is 1725, and it's pretty cool. I just saw my table location, and it's in the main showplex, all the way in the back by where the signings are. So my table is probably like 45 feet from Jim Steranko and all the different comic artists that are going to be there, and the celebrities and all that stuff. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that prep. I got a lot of prep to still do. Let's just say that. Well, we'll see. Maybe by the time I give this away, there'll only be 3 people in here, and the chances of winning are greater. I am a vampire confirmed. No, I just drink blood. What, you don't drink blood for iron? Yes, there is a lid. This way it cannot ruin anything. Well, I mean, unless it spontaneously explodes and like somebody's using their scanner's power. Mattis has a feeling. I got a feeling deep inside. Oh no. Whoa, no. Mattis will never win, but if you call that shit, play the lottery. So I have a poll. There's only 10 of you in here, so it shouldn't be too hard to get everybody to answer. Is there anyone in here that still hasn't seen Across the Spider-Verse? Because I do not want to have a spoiler talk if people in here haven't seen it. I saw it again on Monday. I really love it. Me and Manu had a conversation about it on our podcast that we recorded yesterday. We recorded episodes 3 and 4. So as of today, we have 4 episodes of the podcast. It's called It Came from the Newsstand. And I'm really excited to drop it, but I just wanted to, we wanted to load up the recorded episodes. Big B. All right, Big B. Well, I look, yeah, so go see it, Tyler. Just go see it during the day by yourself. I hate that song. No, I don't need to talk about it. We could wait. You know what? I think Justin is going to be doing, Spidey Hits Justin is going to be doing a spoiler show for it this week. So I'll probably just talk about it on there. I will just say, I'll echo the things that I had said, the first time I saw it. It's a masterpiece. It's going to be looked at in like 30 years, the way that people look at Akira 30 years after. It's going to shape a generation of people. It's going to influence. I just, when you see it and you just kind of like let yourself be in it, it's such a fantastic movie. But yeah, try it. So, and I'm not gonna do spoiler talk. There's a couple people in here that haven't seen it, and there's no reason to go into it. But hello, Link 6237. No, it's all right. It's all right. I could talk about the movie without spoiling anything and without talking about plot points. Someone pulled a fire alarm in the mid. Oh, fuck. That sucks. Yeah, the end was fantastic. But it's just such an achievement in its animation styles, and it's just everything, and it's focused on characters, but without going too heavily into the fan service to make it part of the plot. Like, the fan service is all the kind of stuff that's going on around, but it's not the plot. The plot is such a well-written script. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Kev. I think it is a very, like one of those trilogies that'll be looked at like Star Wars or LOTR or the first. No, I wouldn't even say the first 3 Indiana Jones movies aren't really a trilogy, because really they're not super connected. But yeah, I just love it. There's a lot of stuff to look at. It's definitely a movie that everybody should see more than once. And yeah, so that I won't spoil, but we'll talk about it in the future. The podcast, and I hope I can get everything squared away. I finished editing the 3rd episode today, and then I'll figure out where to post it so it goes to all the major podcast outlets. But it's going to be an interesting podcast. It is not only about comics. Me and Manu we talk about, like, the episode that I edited today. We start off talking about the Spider-Verse, and mind you, this is going to be posted probably in a couple weeks, so it'll be far enough away, and we talk spoilers, and then we go into many other topics that cross different types of conversations that maybe we shouldn't be having, maybe we should, but it's going to be great. I hope you guys really enjoy it. And next week's episode of the Sunday drop will be a flea market one. Probably won't do the next McFarlane one until July, but I'll shoot that probably this week. And I want to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to open this. So I know this isn't a card show, but we all love Mando, right? So anyway, I have a couple boxes of these. This is the first series of Mandalorian season 1, the hobby boxes. I got a guy that sells me Star Wars boxes. I usually sell most of this stuff, but I want to open one of these and see if I can pull a Pedro Pascal autograph out. All right, let's take a look at something that I picked up this week that is absolutely mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I didn't know this existed. One of our friends, you guys might be familiar with Cheddar Comics. And Chris, he posted something on Instagram a couple of days ago. And as soon as I saw it, I had never seen it before. I went on eBay to look to see if I get a copy. And it turns out the only real good copy on eBay that was available was the one that he had. So I just hit him up and I was like, hey, I'll give you $60 for this. And he's like, done. Well, Tyler, I have been too. It does go all over the place like an incontinent puppy, just shitting all over the place verbally. Anyway, it's too big to even fit on the screen. It's 11 by 17, but this is the Monsters. This is a coloring book by Bernie Wrightson from 1974. Look at that. Distributed by Phil Suling in Coney Island, but this is a Bernie Wrightson 1974 coloring book. It is gigantic, and it technically, you could call this like a Bernie Wrightson artist edition because it's just a black and white line work. Yeah, Andrew, I knew you were going to enjoy this. So I just want to flip through it. Like I said, it's 11 by 17. It's the size of most current original pages. Entire contents copyright 1974 by Bernie Wrightson. And so he wrote poems for each one of these images, and I won't read them to you, but yeah, Big B, this is an artifact. This is a relic. And I have no intention of selling this. This goes right into the PC, and no, I'm not coloring it. If I ever find another one, well, if I ever find 4 more of these, because I have to get one to other Dave, and I have to get one of these to Andrew. If I get a 4th one, I'll color that one. Look at this. This is so cool. The mummy that he drew. My God, just a master. This one's really nice too. The last page of this is a swamp creature. He used to draw a lot of swamp creatures, but he couldn't call them Swamp Thing, obviously, because the copyright belongs to DC. But obviously, he co-created Swamp Thing with Len Wein. Are there any famous coloring books from unknown artists at the time? Armando, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. So Swamp Thing's created, I want to say, what year is House of Secrets 92? Has got to be late 60s. I'm gonna look it up. Maybe it's like 71. 71. Okay, so it's 71. So this comes out 3 years after. It comes out 3 years after Swamp Thing. I doubt it, Armando. But I will say this: in the same breath, there are fanzines that exist, and fanzine. Let's just go. This is something that Andrew knows a lot about too. But fanzines would be, a lot of these comic creators, either while they were starting to be professionals or before they were professionals would do these self-published zines, and they would have art in them as well as a lot of articles and essays. And I know one for an example, and I don't know who created him, but there is a and maybe Bob Layton, or no, maybe it was Bob. I don't know. Somebody correct me. Somebody tell me the name. There is a pre-image of Nova before Nova was put into the Marvel universe, and I forget who created Nova artistically. The illustration, but Nova exists in a fanzine before he exists in Nova #1. So it wouldn't be coloring books, but it would definitely be in the self-published realm that you would see somebody doing a previs or preview of a character that they created that they brought to DC or Marvel. Oh, Tyler, I showed it off. I'm going to get it in a little bit. I showed off the Todd Spawn coloring book on the channel like a month ago. I picked it up a month ago. It's fucking awesome. JLS, I love picking up all fanzines. I mean, there are an infinite amount of fanzines that exist, but how many that still exist, in places you could buy, that's always pick them up. I agree with you. Whenever I see them, I pick them up. Even if I don't know what's going on in them, I buy them just to look through them. And then if I don't want them, I usually just sell them. You were born the same year as Man Thing and Swamp Thing. That does explain a lot, Big B. By the way, everybody, look for Big B in a cameo in the video that drops next Sunday. So these Bernie picks may not be online in the, the black and white, but some of this stuff, and I don't know what images for sure, but a lot of this, some of these, I think went to the trading card sets that he did. But make sure, I don't know, like I'd never seen this before I got it this week, and I was absolutely fascinated by it. Is there a fanzine archive website? Andrew, drop it in the comments. I forget the name of it. There is a fanzine archive website. All right, so yeah, look at the size of the Cyclops compared to the ship. But yeah, here's your Frankenstein, which obviously is not copyrighted by anybody. And he did the book, the illustrations for the book. Here's Plant Monster, which kind of looks like kind of reminiscent of like what Dave Stevens would do, just a little less grotesque than Dave Stevens wouldn't go that grotesque. The zombie one's really beautiful. This one, the Goblins one, look at his goblin. Everything he did was amazing. I mean, totally. I don't have a scanner this big, but I do have to get some original artwork scanned for Joe Benitez, because I have his first page, and so once I do that, I can bring this and get that scanned too. I'm Creeping Dead. I love that this poem is called The Creeping Dead, and as soon as I saw that, I thought about Metallica's song Creeping Death. Yes, his horror is perfection. His hatching, his line work is just unbelievable. You got the Axe Murderer. I would love, and me and Andrew were talking about that. We were talking about it. I would love to see somebody's colored version of this and how crazy it is. This one's my favorite image, the witch. It's perfect. This is perfect. And then there's your swamp creature. So, he can't call it Swamp Thing, but we all know that's Swamp Thing. And I believe that's the last page. And then you get the cover. Suggestions for the demented colorist. Whether you use weird watercolors, corrupted crayons, or macabre markers, be sure to use the following hues of horror and sinister shades for the most unnerving results. Now I'm going to read these because this is amazing. Gaping graveyard green, bloated blue, raw reeking red. Oh my God. Moist maggoty magenta. Let me say that one more time while I'm looking at you. Moist maggoty magenta. Lurid lavender, mausoleum mauve, putrid puce, buried alive brown, wormy wasted white, purulent purple, oh God, yeasty yellow, blindly groping black, pinch of pincers pink, obnoxious orange, and grotesque gray. My God. My God. Yeah, it's a coloring book, but this so JL, let me give me 1 sec. There is a thing about these coloring books that exist, and there's a bunch that have been released in the years, for years. They're few and far between, but they truly do serve as kind of a faux artist edition, like a cheap version of an artist edition. And so that was a great pickup this week. And since Tyler suggested it, I showed this off a couple of weeks ago, but Image released the Spawn coloring book a number of years ago. I want to say it was like 2016. And it's funny because it is mostly Todd's art, but the cover is the Eric Larson is one of the Eric Larson images from the Spawn team up in like 240 to 265 or whatever it is. Anyway, and this is kind of a great testament to Todd still having a lot or most of his Spawn artwork, which has been talked about before, that he didn't get rid of it. And here's the original cover for number 1 before Ken Stacy painted over it, making one of the most iconic comic covers of all time. And you just get a lot of this early Todd black and white. This came out in 2016, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, 2016. So this was a centerfold piece, but this was also the cover for the Spawn 1 3D edition. And I think this is, as much as I love Spider-Man, like some of this Todd stuff is his best work. Some of the Spawn stuff. And that's just, it's not as iconic. It's not Spidey, but artistically, I think it looks amazing. The first like 5 issues, some of that stuff. So that's an Eric Larson piece. This is the Walking Dead homage, the Walking Dead number 1 homage that Todd did for Spawn 220, whatever it was. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I only found 1 copy, but I would have bought multiples if I had found more than 1 copy. That's a great little silhouette there. So the cover to Spawn 2, well, it's also Spawn 227, 301, 300. And we all know Todd homaging Todd, homaging Todd, homaging Todd. That's a fun little image of Violator getting his arm cut off, I guess. There's a famous split face Spawn sewn together, which is like one of the coolest things. I don't know. I don't think it gets the credit that it deserves, but this was that one time that a team up actually kept in continuity. When he did Spawn Batman, and the last page of Spawn Batman through the Batarang split right through Spawn's face, and his face was tied up like this for, I don't know, 25, 35 issues. You remember having a Fantastic Four coloring book full of Kirby art when you were a kid? Yeah, I just saw one of those. I forget the company that makes them, but I know what you're talking about, Bigby. I've seen one recently. Nobody homages Todd like Todd. Nobody homages anybody like Todd. There's Todd homaging Eric Larson, Savage Dragon number 1. I don't know what issue this is from. This might have been the Frank Miller issue, like issue 10 or 11. A little overkill. So there you go. He still has the original artwork for Wizard issue number 10. How crazy is that? It's another fun little early Spawn. This might be a little bit later. This looks like later Spawn, but I'm not sure. I don't know what issue that's from. How about that one, though? There's the Violator rips out his heart, and that's the double page spread. Look at it's just, I would love to see this in person, the original art. Issue number 3. That's from the Satan Saga Wars. So that's that Eric Larson team up. Issue number 4 cover. I mean, it doesn't look as cool as Bernie because this was like cleaned up a little bit, but I still just love seeing this. I love how you could just color the logo image page. So I'll flip through this real quick. This is just something to pick up if you're interested in, coloring one in, or if you're interested in just seeing some black and white Spawn art, which we don't get to see a lot of. There's the homage to ASM 316 that he did for issue 226 or whatever. It's just some fun little automatopoeias in there. This is from Spawn 9, first appearance of Angela and Medieval Spawn. There's that variant cover for, I forget what issue it is. That's the first Violator, I believe, the first Violator image. Don't remember what this is from, but I like the amount of chains and skulls. Kids love chains, and Danzig wants your skulls. He's better than that. And you could add your own captions in there too. Gotta love it. It's a fun little image. I think this is from a cover for Image United. Don't know what that one is. But yes, always Todd on this channel. There's plenty of Todd to go around, and this is just one of the cool little recent artifacts from comics is this Spawn coloring book. It's all recent. It's 7 years old now. That's a cover for number 7 or 8 or 12. I can't remember. What's a number? What's a number? And then create your own Spawn cover. So yeah, that's the Spawn coloring book. That was a recent pickup, but this one's a super recent pickup, the Bernie Wrightson Monsters Color of the Creature book. And then I want to give a shout out to one of our friends, Andrew P., who got this for me, just sent this to me without, I didn't know. And this is like a bootleg Spider-Man Prism card with Todd art. It's from something called 2021 North State Cards, and it's a prismatic custom. 10 numbered out of 100. They created these slabs, but that was just really thoughtful, and I appreciate you, Andrew. And that's for me to keep. But why don't I do this? I said I was going to do a giveaway, and since we're talking about Todd, and it's a very Toddly weekend, I'm going to give away this 9/8 pre-screen reject that I just got back from CGC. And all you got to do is type in the word Toddfather in the chat. Hashtag Toddfather. Put it in there. Let's give this sucker away. It's ASM 304 newsstand, probably a 9496. But it was not, it was rejected as a 9/8. So put the hashtag Toddfather in, and I'll send this to you. Whether, if you buy something on Wednesday, I'll send it with your books. If not, I'll just send it to you. No charge. No charge. But yeah, and yes, Andrew, I appreciate you so much for this, and can't wait to get a little shelf for all my little Todd slabs. Todd, the Toddfather. And then I think what I'll do is open this, but I do want to talk about what I don't know when I'm going to be able to do the next book club, but we are going to be doing Toward Fada. I am Tyler. I'm doing Wednesday this week. The following week, I'm not doing it. And then the week after will be the last one for 3 weeks. So that last week in June is going to be the last West Coast Wednesday until late July. Taking some time off and leaving. Oh my Todd. Hey, what's up, Tripmaster Deluxe? Tripmaster Deluxe. There's 2 of them. It's okay. I'm always confused. So I'm like the Hulk, except confused. That's my secret. I'm always confused. All right, we got 9 entries. Hashtag Toddfather. While I drink a little blood. It's blood. I never said I was a vampire. You're flipping through Craven right now. Okay. Oh, Craven's Last Hunt. What does that mean? Did y'all... Okay, for any of my gamer homies in the house, did y'all watch the gameplay trailer for the new Spider-Man game? Oh, my boy. Giving everyone a shot with the giveaway. Everybody, let's get that. Hashtag Toddfather. Yes. You got to put that in. That is not the correct spelling. It will not be entered into the giveaway. Toddfather. Yeah, I'm very excited for the new Spider-Man game. You got the black suit Spidey, you got Miles, you can play between the two. You got Kraven Lizard and Venom, the symbiote, is in the game. It is in the game. Yeah, so it's funny. As me and Manu were talking on the podcast about the new movie Across the Spider-Verse, I said to him something about how, I enjoy Gwen almost more of a character in these movies, only because I feel like, I'm interested to hear y'all's take on this. If you've played the game or you've read the Miles books, I've spent more time with Miles as a character, and I've never read a Gwen book before. I've never read, Ghost Spider or Radioactive Spider-Gwen or any of that. So I'm enjoying her as a character more because I'm spending time with her, so to speak, for the first time. Whereas I know Miles, I read the first, 2 volumes of Ultimate Spider-Man, or 3 volumes, and I played both Spider-Man games on PS5. And so I had my time with Miles, and then the Spider-Verse movie the first one is a very Miles-centric movie, where this is kind of, it's split between him and Gwen. So it's interesting. Dude, Mattis, you're right. The black suit in the game is slimy as fuck. I love Gwen too. Derek Strom in the house. Hashtag Toddfather. Going to give away this copy of ASM 304, a 9.8 pre-screen reject for my recent submission to CGC, otherwise known as Crappy Grading Company. Enjoying Gwen more too. Your son is Ghost Spider 100. That's awesome. See? That's great. Tragic agricultural laboratory accident. Dave became infused with a vegetarian. He is now known as Corn Fused. All right, let's do this giveaway. Hashtag Toddfather. We got 12 entries. We'll give it another, 30 seconds. Let me share the screen and get that up there. Todd. The Toddfather, Todd. Maybe I'll get you all hyped by doing this real quick. Todd the Toddfather. Todd talks. Todd talks.
Todd, you're indoors. Why you got sunglasses on?
All right. What's up, Interglobal? All right, let's give this away in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2. Hashtag Toddfather. Last chance. 1. All right, here we go. Oh, and Interglobal's gonna win it. Gusty, there is yours. I'm just gonna write this right here. Interglobal. Congratulations. All right. What's Andrew saying here? I don't think this is a spoiler, but in the movie they bookended the whole thing with Gwen, first scene, last scene. Yep. Seems like a big signal to her relevance. Her character and world is great. You are most welcome. You are most welcome. The power of Todd compels you, and now you have the power of Todd coming to you in the mail. All right. So, as promised, I would like to do this. I know this isn't a card show, but we all love a little bit of the old, ultra violence, a little bit of the Star Wars. And I've got this box of Mandalorian Season 1 by Topps. It comes in this nifty tin shaped like the head of the Mando. And why I really want to open this is just, I collected cards as a kid. I love cards. I love opening boxes. I collected hockey cards, baseball cards, Marvel cards. And Todd compels me daily, Liz. I will not be giving that page away, nor will I be giving the page away that I won the other night. So I have a lot of good artwork coming to me. I'm excited to show it off. But I really would like to get a Pedro Pascal autograph out of here. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I have access to a lot of Star Wars sealed boxes from a friend. And so every once in a while I buy a bunch. I usually sell them, but sometimes I buy some to open. So this is a top series 1 Mando box. There's not a lot of packs in here. I don't know what these cards are like, but I'm excited to open them. I hope you guys are excited to see me open them. All right, let's do this. Everybody give me little good vibes for getting a Pedro Pascal signed card, because he's everybody's favorite TV person. All right, I'm just gonna no match for the Mandalorian. Assassin Reborn. Maybe there's a Taika Waititi autograph. I'll take that as a backup. Cooley and the Kid. There is definitely a Werner Herzog card signed by Werner Herzog. Oh wait, he's got a guy. I got a guy. There's not more packs. No, it's just this shit ain't. Yeah, I am. Oh, hello there. Pedro Pascal. Oh, yeah, this is always fun. Pause crossed. Positive vibrations. The negotiation. Actually, there's so many interesting and good actors and actresses in this cast. The only one I don't want is what's her name? Former UFC Cara, what's her name? Shan. And then we got a parallel of the first card. Can't remember her name. She said some dumb shit comparing something to the Holocaust, and it was like, yeah, you don't do that. Incinerator Trooper. Found. Training the Villagers. Yeah, her. Why can't I remember her name? Oh, Cara Dune's her character name. That's right. Rescue is the way. Aw, the child. Yes, Gina Carano. Yes. Yeah, you just don't compare stuff to the Holocaust. It's dumb. I know she apologized and all, and that's all good. But it was just stupid. There he is, the client, Werner Herzog. Funny story. If you don't know who Werner Herzog is, legendary director, but he occasionally appears in movies, and he's always this very stoic, character. And there's an interview from like 10, 15 years ago, and it was like at his house or something outside in Hollywood. And during the interview, somebody, and I don't think it was directed at him, but somebody shot him with a BB gun in like the neck or something. And he's like, I got shot with a BB gun, and then just keeps talking. It's like the greatest thing ever. A change of heart. Delivering the asset. So yeah, these are just screenshots from the first season, which, they're nice cards and all. It's not my thing. But these are $200 boxes. Don't say that, Big B. Don't say that. Moff Gideon. Giancarlo Esposito not only was Moff Gideon and Gus Fring, and he's in The Boys as the Vought CEO, but I just finished watching Better Call Saul all the way through. I never got to see that last season, so I watched it all from the beginning. And man, he's such a great actor, but kind of he's played a lot of the same kind of villains in these things. Oh, it's a Kowakian monkey lizard, aka Salacious Crumb. Anyway, he's gonna be at SummerCon, which is pretty cool. There's Amy Sedaris as Pelimato. I'll pull the auto and you win a giveaway. Wow, Tyler. These are some fighting words. I'll give you something if I pull the auto. How about that? Then you guarantee a giveaway. IG-11, as voiced by Taika Waititi. Showdown with the Empire. Tusken Raider territory. I can't do Star Wars noises that well. I don't know why. Maybe Professor. No, he really. I thought it was Magneto that he wanted to play, but maybe it is Professor X. Yeah, but I just don't see. I don't know. Maybe he could be a good Professor X. I can't say no. But I thought it was Magneto, and I don't want to see him play another villain. The AT-AT has awoken. Ooh, what do we got here? A Moff Gideon characters card. Could this be signed? No, it's not. And then we got a purple parallel, but it's not numbered or anything. All right, he'll take that deal. I heart Amy Sedaris. Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, okay. Yeah, I just don't want to see him play a villain. Actually, Professor X would be pretty cool. I'm tired of seeing him play the villain. I want to see what he could do as a good guy. Zero's assessment. The New Republic closes in. Pinned down by the Imperials. Dun, 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 dun. Messy infiltration. Could say that about certain other things. Another asset from Quill. Enter the Hunter. Concept art. And another blue parallel. Created by Doug Chang, who's been working on Star Wars since we were all little kids. Fassbender is an absolute perfect choice as Magneto, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to use the same cast, but I could be wrong. I mean, we all thought that about Wolverine, and then Jackman's coming back. But I think when they finally bring Wolverine in with the X-Men, I think it's going to be somebody completely different. So are you. Yeah. Well, that would be interesting. That would be interesting if he played a good guy. All right. We got 2 packs left of this very little box. I want to see what so getting an autograph, just any autograph is, I can't even see where a single autograph is, because a dual autograph is 1 in 2,258. So I don't think I'm pulling a Pedro, but shit, you have to try. There's only one way to know. Showdowns in the streets of Navarro. There he is, the child. Aw, look at the Grogu. Riding in the Sandcrawler. Hey, look, it's Carl Weathers, a.k.a. Apollo Creed, a.k.a. Chubbs, a.k.a. Grief. Oh, shit. It's Dr. Pershing. I didn't even mean to ruin that. I ruined my own surprise. But I got a Dr. Pershing autograph, which is signed by Omid Abatahi. And Pershing actually, he becomes, it's a kind of sad story of what happens to him. He gets sold out and lobotomized pretty much. Man, I didn't think I was going to get an autograph, and now I got an autograph, and it's like, ooh, do I open the other box? All right, well, there's a Omid Abatahi autograph. It's a terrible autograph or whatever. Andy Samberg is Professor X. There you go. That's a great idea. Deadpool 3 have tons of original cast. Yeah, they're doing, I think they're doing like a kind of like a timeline spoof on that whole movie. He got flayed. Yeah, he did. Queel and the Forging the Pauldron. I think that's supposed to say cauldron. I don't know what a pauldron is. I guess that is a pauldron. Is that what they called it in the show? Weird. I don't remember that. All right, last pack. Maybe we'll get a dual auto. Maybe this will be the greatest box of all time. Little green button pusher. Drawing a crowd. Back in business. The Village Sanctuary. Pursuit, Escape. Pure Firepower. And then Tools of the Bounty Hunter. We got one more card here, which is probably a parallel of some sort. Yeah, it's a numbered parallel, actually. Crushing the Hunters. Was that 26 out of 50? So that was a fun box. I mean, I don't know if I really want to open the other. I could. It's fun. But it's also like, these are $200 boxes. I don't know if I would like to do that. So pulled that parallel in the last pack, and then the autograph I got was Dr. Pershing. I don't think it's one autograph per box. I could be wrong, though. Let's see. I'm trying to find... Trying to find the odds of an autograph, and there's so much on here. As you can see, there's so much on here to read that it's like impossible to pull out the the regular autograph parallels. Red 1 in 80, bronze 1 in 26. So I can't tell if that's a parallel. This is wild. This is so impossible to figure out. This is why I don't collect cards anymore. I just buy boxes every once in a while to open. Rip Cool. Yeah. I got an auto. Pedro is in it. Stop trying to save it and think if you want to sell it later or open. Jesse, that is the smart thing to do. And I think I will stay for now. It's not like I really have to worry. I could either sell it or not. But I could also sell the other like 6 different Star Wars boxes that I brought home last week, or 7 boxes, and just probably make my profit and keep that one and open it. Don't get mad at Jesse for having rational thoughts. All right. So last week, I don't know if you were watching on Wednesday, but I was very vocal about the fact that I was in the middle of watching the Comic Link original art auction, which ended on Wednesday night. And some of the amazing pieces that sold. And if you're not into original art, we're gonna look through the Heritage catalog for the signature auction they're doing this month. But some of the amazing original art pieces that sold at Comic Link this past Wednesday was the original covers painted by Jim Starlin of Thanos Quest 1 and 2, which combined went for almost or a little bit over $200,000. 2 pages from Batman Adventures 12 with Harley Quinn on them. One of them sold for $100,000. I forget what the other one sold for, but it was just a little bit less. But we're talking first appearance of Harley Quinn. But I think one of the most impressive, if not the most impressive piece personally to me that sold, that I did not bid on, the first appearance page of Death in Sandman number 8. So the view of the fountain and she sits down next to Morpheus sold for $100,550 for the first ever appearance. It's a Mike Dringenberg did the art. Neil Gaiman wrote the book, and that page sold for $100,000. Some of the other notable pieces that were in that auction were Jack Kirby did recreation covers as commissions, one of AF-15 and one of Amazing Spider-Man 1. Both of those sold, I forget the exact numbers, but it was about $32,000 each. And the AF-15 cover was his pencils, but somebody else inked it. The ASM-1 recreation cover was inked and penciled, or it was just pencils by Kirby. It was beautiful. I suggest if you want to see some of that stuff, you could just make a Comic Link account and you could just look at the past auctions. Yeah, the AF-15 is gorgeous, but the ASM one I think is actually more beautiful art-wise because it's just Kirby. Some of the other things, there was a lot of Kirby pieces that ended. I bid on one, but I didn't win it. I bid on a Bagley page from Ultimate Spider-Man. It was the Death of Spider-Man, so I forget what issue that is, 160. And then there was a couple McFarlane pages, and I won one. I won a page from Amazing Spider-Man 301. No, what am I saying? Amazing Spider-Man 307. Sorry about that. I don't know why I said that. But I'm going to show you what the page looks like. I think I should be able to share this screen. Window. Yes, here we go. Let's share this window. So I won this page, and it's on its way to me. It probably won't be here for a couple weeks, but I'm excited to show it off. And this is from 307, that famous cover of Chameleon looking all like Spider-Man. And I love this page. I mean, it's got Chameleon, so that's Spider-Man's first villain. It's got the burning Capitol building and the flag, and it's just a very me vibe on this page. And I'm really excited to take this page and bring it home, or get it into my home. So that was not cheap, but that's all good. That's what I'm choosing to spend my money on these days. I'm not really putting any more comics into my PC unless it's something that comes in a collection, in a cheap way that I can afford to keep it and not worry about selling it. Like if I bought a collection, I got a House of Secrets 92, I'm going to keep that. I actually looked at a copy of Hulk 181 yesterday. I decided not to buy it. I might change my mind. Tuesday, I'm going to go look at it again if it's still there. But yeah, so the Comic Link auction was amazing. Now, if you've been following along with, the things that I've been talking about and doing in this space, would I ever trade my Todd pages, the two that I have, for a Spidey page? If I like that Spidey page, sure. But those go for a premium above a premium. It's hard to really say. I've never seen a Spider-Man McFarlane page sell for under like 10 or 15 grand. And I'm not spending that right now on art. But if I had the shot to get one, yes, I would. It's to me, I would love a Todd Spidey page that has Spidey on it, or Venom. But honestly, if the next tier down was a little bit cheaper, I go for a Lizard or a Mysterio page. The other Todd page that I have that I got a couple weeks ago has Peter on it. So that's cool. But yeah, to get a Spidey page, remember and it goes without saying, this stuff is one of one, but then the amount of pages that Spidey are on are less because he's not on every page. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jesse, it's like a Betamax tape or something. Let me show it again. Where am I? Share screen, share window. Let's open that. Oh, I gotta open that back up. Give me 1 sec. Get that back up on the screen. All right, here we go. We'll put that back up on the screen and we'll look at it again. Isn't that special? So yeah. So this is like some recorder. If I remember, he was like maybe blackmailing or recording something because he was in disguise as somebody else. And then down here is that tape. I think it's supposed to be like a Betamax or something that's like maybe a cassette. It's something smaller than a VHS. Also because he's loading it in that way. If it was a VHS, he'd be loading it in horizontally, which, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I would love a Mysterio page, Todd Mysterio page. I think that's one of the villains he shows. He draws the best. So if you've been following along with what's going on with me and original art, there is that Marvel Spotlight 6 page that I got in a trade, which technically I basically got that page for $130 something. And of course, Jesse, no problem. And so that Marvel Spotlight 6 page, if you're not familiar, second appearance of Ghost Rider, Mike Plug is the artist, and the page, and I should have a picture of it. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of it. That page also has a transformation of Ghost Rider. And transformation page is a huge thing because that's like one of the cool things. God, I don't think I have the original art folder on my computer. It's on my other computer. Dang it. Well, why don't we do this here? I'm going to show you. Why don't we look at this on the Heritage website? Give me 1 moment, folks, and I will get that. So I got this in a trade, and I'm not a Ghost Rider fan, but it was very cool to get this page. So I made the decision to send it to Heritage. I had a phone conversation with Brian, who runs their comic book art, like all that stuff. And he was really adamant and really excited. He's like, look, I want this page. I want to be able to sell this page. And so it's up on Heritage. It's going to be in the platinum session of their signature auction this month. I don't know what it's going to go for, but you can see it's already at $5,000 and it's still, got 9 days left. But when it goes live and people are bidding on it in phone and on the internet and all that, that's when the real bidding goes. But this is the page, as you can see, And I think you guys could. I hope you guys could see this. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get this big. How do I do this? No. Yes, there we go. But yeah, this page you could see Johnny Blaze waking up. The moon transforms into Ghost Rider. This dude walks in, and then it's Ghost Rider, and then Ghost Rider looking at his bike. So this is an almost all Ghost Rider page. And so I don't know what it's going to go for. I don't know if I'm going to like. Yes, exactly. It's funny because this whole thing was like inspired. Other Dave had told me that story, and I don't know how. Like, I know there's a documentary about it, but the guy who like traded a paperclip eventually got a house. Like he just traded up. And so I got this page in a box for $100. I'm sorry, I got that Punisher book, the ASM 129, in a box of books for $100. I graded that. It graded a 9.2. I traded that with one other book for this page. And then, so I decided to send this page to, Heritage. And I will say this. A page last year for Marvel Spotlight 5, the first appearance of Ghost Rider, sold for $52,000. A page this year sold for a little over 40. Neither of those pages from Marvel Spotlight 5 had Ghost Rider on them. One page had Johnny Blaze. The other one didn't have Johnny Blaze on it. This is the second appearance, and it's full Ghost Rider. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really excited, but I'm really nervous. Super nervous, actually. So that's where I'm at right now in the stages. It ends on the 22nd, I believe. So I don't know if I'm going to have a watch party for it. I'm a little too nervous. What's the general Spidey page with Spidey on it worth? I have no clue. It has nothing to do with the character. It has to do with the artist. So I don't even know what book it's from. A couple $100. I mean, look, I got a Ramita Spider-Man page for $500. So it all depends on the artist, right? So McFarlane or Larson page, expensive, very expensive, thousands and thousands and thousands. Larson sometimes can be more expensive than Todd because there's less of it in existence, because Larson had that fire at his home. Yeah, I believe it was the early 90s, and he lost a lot of original artwork. His house burned down. Older pages, Ditko and Ditko pages are, they're untouchable. So it all just depends. It's more, it's like, instead of saying time, it's artist and book. I don't know. I don't even know who Matthew Clark is. I know you told me about the page, you showed it to me, but it's probably a couple $100 unless it's a key issue. So really, it's all those factors that we think about with comics, but amplified because it's original art. So let's take a look at some of the absolutely crazy stuff that's going up for auction at Heritage this month. Thank you, Lamar. Appreciate that. Look, yeah, you have to pick yourself up and move on. A couple of Green Lantern pages from the Neil Adams run. This is a detective page from 395, and then Neil Adams Green Lantern 85. It's Ross Andrew. There's an amazing Simon Bisley cover from Terminator: The Enemy Within. His stuff always sells for a lot because his painted covers are amazing. Check out this Brian Bolland Joker illustration. I mean, this is the cover for it. So it's funny, this catalog does not include the Platinum session. It's just these two sessions. So my piece isn't shown in here. Hey, look, if I do, I already know what I want to do. I want to put some of that money back into buying an original piece for myself, maybe a Bernie or a Sienkiewicz. And then the rest of that will, go into savings. And unfortunately, a lot of that will go to the government for taxes. Another Brian Bolland, this beautiful Batman image, and then a Brian Bolland Animal Man cover. Bolland stuff is it's in a class of its own. There's a Buscema Avengers 79 and a Buckler Hulk cover, and then covers always go for more money than it doesn't matter. This cover will go for $20,000, $32,000 or something like that. Some Buscema stuff. There's a lot of Buscema stuff. He's one of those guys that like his art always sells for a lot, but there is a lot of art out there of his. I mean, the man was one of the workhorses of comics. I love blood. The Platinum Session is probably, I'm assuming that's what it is. It doesn't say, but I'm assuming that's what it is. Yeah. Because if you look, it's like comics memorabilia, comic art, comics memorabilia, comic art. And then this is the Platinum, I would imagine. That's what it is. I could be wrong though, but I think that's what it is. Check out that Galactus piece from Marvel graphic novel, that Silver Surfer graphic novel. That's going to go for a lot. So, okay, so this is not the original cover, but this is a Buscema recreation cover. So somebody had him, commissioned him to do a recreation of Silver Surfer 1. And that's going to sell for a shit ton of money. That will. The original cover is actually on display on that Traveling Art of Marvel show that I think is in Columbus right now, or maybe it's in Charlotte, one of the C cities, starting with the letter C. Some burn pages always sell for a crazy amount. He's got one of the most dedicated original art fans, thousands. Like I've never seen like a burn page on a Fantastic Four or an X-Men book go for an amount that I could even begin to afford. Grew up on Buscema, Byrne, and Miller. Yeah. You have a better chance at getting an affordable Buscema page than you do Byrne or Miller for sure. There's a couple Miller pieces, I think, in this book. Yeah, I'm stoked. Joe, it's great, but I had no point. I had no place keeping it. I should just sell it and move on to other things that I want to. Most modern stuff is being done digitally, so original art's just going to be few and far between, but it is not cheap. So it's not. Look, I'll give this advice. Last year, or is it this year? Late last year, early this year, I bought my first pages. Since I had a couple that I don't even want to talk about. I had a couple when I was younger, and I sold them like an idiot. But I started small. I bought a Capullo Spawn page. No, I bought a Silvestri Spawn page. Benita Silvestri page from Weapon Zero, and then I bought a Capullo Spawn page. I didn't spend $1,000. I didn't spend more than $1,000 individually on any of those. So, I know we all want, hopefully, I know we all want the artists that we love. You're like we already saw Lamar mention Buscema, Byrne, and Miller. But if there's somebody else in a lower tier that you want, you can always start. I mean, there's so much work out there on some of these guys. For example, Gil Kane, you can afford a Gil Kane page for under $1,000. Sure, you're not going to get a Green Lantern page for under $1,000. Capullo too. Like I've seen some Capullo stuff sell for way under $1,000. But like this John Byrne page from X-Men 143, I'm sure it's going to go for $7 or $8 grand. This J. Scott page, this swimsuit wraparound cover will probably be about $10,000. He had some pieces in the Comic Link auction, and that combined was about $100,000. Is there a way? I don't know, actually. I don't know where it's going after this, Tyler, but I will say this. If you can find the time to take a trip to see it in the city it's in, go do it. It's so fucking worth it. I went to see it twice in Portland. And actually, I went to see it once. Comic Tim went to see it once in Portland. But I'm sure it'll make its way around the country. So, Mattis, it's funny. An original page from them, it's like unaffordable. But I saw an Eastman page or maybe a cover from one of the IDW books sell for under $2,000 at the Comic Link auction. So, if you don't mind paying for a newer page, you probably get one. Dude, it's amazing. It's amazing. So this Spawn cover, I know I can't afford it. I know it's going to go for, $12,000, but that Spawn cover for $82,000, and it's Capullo and McFarlane. It's the dream team right there. A Jack Davis Vault of Horror page, Gabriel Delato Dark Knight 3 Master Race variant cover. This Delato Wolverine, Armando, I don't know if you're in here, but look at this. The Wolverine creating Marvel's legendary mutant cover art. What's up, Dracula? Hey, look, I'm drinking a bottle of blood tonight in your honor. We're looking at the Heritage catalog for the signature auction and going through some of the original artwork. And if you're just joining, easy. If you're just joining, I have a big page in this auction. So I'm really stoked about that. And I'll show that off in a minute again if anybody else needs to see it or wants to see it. But let's look at some of the other. There's some Hal Foster, Prince Valiant. There's a Frazetta, two Frazettas, Frazetta from Durango Kid and a Frazetta from Johnny Comet. Yes, Laird is much rarer because he did less work in the long run. Eastman has done so much more Turtles art. Have I showed you? Have you seen the original Turtles piece that I have, the original Shredder piece? Here's another Frazetta. This thing, look at this. Frazetta at the Earth's core, this painting. This will be, I imagine this has got to be at least a $35,000 piece. I mean, Frazetta stuff does not go cheap at all. All right, let me go get something. I'll be right back. All right, coming back in. We interrupt the special message to show you some stuff that you guys may not have seen before. How about that? I'm going to have to... Okay, so some of you people have never seen some of my interesting pieces in this portfolio. I met Matt Groening in 2006, and I got him to do a little Homer sketch. It's my favorite character that he ever drew was Homer, especially because his initials are, so prominently displayed right there. All right. Some of this stuff I'm not going to explain, but I went to see Gorillaz at the Apollo when they did the Demon Days tour, and this is the program, and I got it signed by Damon Albarn. That's cool. What else we got here? There's Me as a Jewish Aquaman by Luke McCrary. I forget his name. This is a musician I'm friends with. He does these animals with cigarettes, and this is Shark Cigs. But let's see. If you're familiar with some of Neil Gaiman's storybooks, but if you ever saw the album artwork for Phoebe Bridgers' Punisher, Chris Riddell, who's a children's book artist and an amazing illustrator overall, I bought this original piece from him, which is really beautiful. I think the Turtles piece is in here, though. I got some Jaws original programs. Here it is. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Jewish Aquaman, yeah. Oh, I'm glad you know who that is, Tyler. That's awesome. Yeah, he's fantastic. So this piece was done by Kevin Eastman in 1985, and it's of Shredder. This image, now, I don't know where it was published, but this image is used on a T-shirt that Kevin Eastman sells. So this is an early image of Shredder. It's I believe it's watercolored, and maybe it's, I'm not sure everything. I would love to ask Kevin Eastman about it. But so it's funny. I bought this from a person local to me that owns a store that had a customer that is, they call this customer Big Ticket, because he always brings in items from his collection to trade. And he traded this piece, and he bought it from somebody. Anyway, long story short, I bought this. I tracked down the original owner because his account was still open on Comic Art Fans. And I asked him about this, and he bought it at a signing that Kevin and Peter did in a comic store in Worcester, Massachusetts in 85. So I guess he was selling some original artwork. He then brought it to a different convention later that year, got them both to sign it. And This thing, he said he sold it on eBay years ago, and now it's mine, and I'm never selling this because it's absolutely stunning piece of shredder. And this is an original early Eastman and Laird piece. So, Mattis, that was for you. I don't think there's anything else in here that's worth showing off. All right, I'll show you this. There's me and Jenna Jameson when I was younger, like right around my 18th birthday. And I got it signed afterwards a couple months later or whatever. Anyway, there's that. All right, so let's keep looking at this. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to show that off. So there's a bunch of Frazettas. Check out these Jose Luis Garcia Lopez pieces from the DC Bloodlines storyline. He was one hell of an artist. I mean, the man, he shaped a lot of interesting DC stuff. So this is one of their auctions. They do like 3 days of auctions. Here's some George Harriman, Crazy Cat. Yes, I love her work too. Adam Hughes Hellboy piece. Carmine Infantino and Joe Giella Flash piece. Look at this Jeffrey Catherine Jones painting. Unbelievable. Jeffrey Catherine Jones, her stuff sells for money that, it's an ungodly amount. Sweet. Thank you, Biggs. We're looking, Sean, we're looking at the catalog for the Heritage Art Auction that's happening at the end of the month. This is the same auction my Spotlight page is in, but it's not in this catalog because I think it's in a different catalog. So I just, we're talking about original art. I just bought that other Todd page that I also got another page. I got a Stephen Platt page coming to me that I purchased. And I think I bought an Eric Larson. It's not a published page, but it's an old commission. So I'm really excited to get some of this original art in. I've been on a little tear buying stuff. Okay, so look at this. A page from Sandman #4 by Sam Keith and Mike Trinchenberg. This thing's going to sell for a fucking crazy fuck ton. Like the page that sold this past week on Comic Link, The First Death, went for $100,000. I can see this going for about 15 or so. It's got Etrigan on it. It's got Morpheus on it. What else would you want? Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers doing Tales of Suspense 75. So here's some Kirby pages. I mean, if you have the ability to buy some of this stuff, I mean, I'd be happy to direct people in a position, be like, look, this is a, it is a Moon Knight page, but it doesn't have Moon Knight on it. That's why I was able to afford it. But it is a Moon Knight page. I'm really excited to get that. He was on my list. I basically, at this point, the way I'm collecting, I'm trying to go entry level with a lot of this stuff because I'm not trying to buy it. I don't have the money to blow 15 grand or 10 grand, right? But I want to get pieces from each of my favorite artists to get in on the ground floor and then eventually, maybe trade up in cash. But Sienkiewicz and Wrightson are my two next big ones to tackle. Sienkiewicz has a lot of pieces out there. Obviously, he's done a ton of artwork. Same with Bernie, but I'm waiting for the right piece at the right price. I've been on a couple of Bernie pieces that I've lost because I kind of knew I was going to lose, but I threw my name into the hat anyway. I know I'm never going to get a Swamp Thing page because that's way too much. But what I really like, in all honesty, is a page from Spider-Man Hooky. Kirby, Cap, and Thor pages are awesome. I mean, all Kirby's awesome, but yeah, his Marvel superhero stuff is heads above a lot of other stuff that he did. Foot in the door, baby. Yeah, like this piece is great. It's Fighting American, but it's this piece would probably go for a little bit less than the Eternals page here or the Black Panther page. So these pieces are insane right here. These Scott Koblish Fantastic Four 7 and 8 wraparound covers, they're gigantic. 42.5 by 16.5. So here's a magnified piece of this page, these wraparound covers. And obviously, if you're not familiar with cover images on original artwork, always sell for thousands and thousands more than pages. Like I was saying, like this Coletta Hulk page, I think it was Coletta. this Hulk cover that we saw in the beginning, the Buckler and Milgram. Like, even though it's not an iconic cover or anything, it's going to go for 20K plus. Here's a Hawkman Brave and the Bold splash page, which is a Joe Kubert page. I can't imagine that's going to be cheap. Kubert and Jesse Delperdang, Onslaught Marvel 1. So here's another, oh God, look at this Bob Lorkin. I bid on a Punisher page that Jusco did. I didn't win it. I probably could have won it, but I didn't want to push my luck on spending that much money last Wednesday. All right, so here we go. There's a reason why this, like, you only see one or two Eric Larson pages every once in a while because a lot of that stuff just doesn't exist anymore. But this page from ASM 324, it's got Solo, it's got Spidey. It'll be a $15,000 page at least. Milgram, feel like his Spidey artwork isn't talked about enough. I can't tell you. I can't. Yeah, I don't know what issues he did, but you're right. Yeah. All right. Good point, Tyler. I'm gonna stop talking. This page will sell for a fuck ton too. This is a Jim Lee Dan Green page from X-Men 248, and that is the first Jim Lee X-Men book. So I assume that'll sell for 20 grand or so, 30 grand. The one page I'm kind of bummed that I missed on was an auction like 3 or 4 months ago. I'm a big Ryan Otley fan, y'all know. I love Invincible. I was bidding on a page from his first issue on Invincible, and I lost it. I don't know what it ended up going for, but I should have just spent a little more money because it was his first issue. These are all 101. Right, exactly. I mean, look, the spotlight page that I'm selling was probably sitting in this lady's house probably for 35 years. So I don't plan on selling any of my stuff unless I'm selling it to buy a bigger page. So here's a page from X-Men 275 by Jimothy Lee and Deathblow 1, which is Jim Lee doing his best Frank Miller imitation. Look at this one though. It's a commission. It's just an illustration, but look at that Batman Jim Lee Scott Williams piece. Absolutely stunning. Although I will say this, controversial, but Mark Silvestri's Batman's better than Jim Lee's Batman. Oh shit, he said it. Jim Lee and Scott Williams Batman 612 story page from Hush, and another Superman Unchained. It's not by a lot though. Not by a lot. This one will probably sell for crazy money. David Lloyd Warrior 22 V for Vendetta story page 1. Hello, the first page for book 2, chapter 8 of V for Vendetta. Winsor McKay piece, a couple of Winsor McKay pieces. This one's beautiful. This is a editorial comics panel from New York Herald in 1920. Jesus. How does this stuff survive? How does this stuff survive for 93 years or however? Wait, no, that's 100 years. I don't know how to count. I feel that way about your New Mutants full run of all this Super Spidey site. You tapped out. Oh, and your Mint run. Yeah, you'll never see that kind of grades in those books again. All right, now we get to a Frank Miller page from Daredevil 190, the iconic run, inked by Klaus Janson, and you got Black Widow and Daredevil. That page will sell for a lot of money. It's Frank Miller art. This is the one I want. Like, okay, I would love a Ronin 1 page, sure, or an Elektra Lives Again page. But if you ask me what my favorite Frank Miller art is, it's always going to be Sin City. That's the big fat kill, number 1, page 4. Dwight, and who is that? That's Shelley. You know, it's funny. I just watched the. Ooh, can I make a recommendation, friends? For all of you that have DVD, Blu-ray collection, and like collecting physical media, if you don't own Sin City on DVD, I suggest it. Obviously, it's a great movie, but I suggest it for the reason that there is a director's commentary, and it's Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez talking through the entire movie. It is awesome. It's like you get to hear the two of them just kind of gush over each other, and talk about working on the movie and how, Miller just dove in head first with the directing and the way that they worked with all the actors. And it's like one of my favorite casts of all time. It's my favorite, top 3 favorite comic book movie of all time, but just that cast is amazing. So to own a piece from Sin City like this one of Dwight getting hit by the car, just absolutely amazing. And then look at this Frank Miller Electro, which is more towards his Sin City style than it is his it kind of looks like Electro Lives, but an animated movie would have been really cool. But I like what they did. It was so way ahead of its time. It was 2005. I mean, that was almost 20 years ago that movie came out. Oh my God. Look at that. A Mobius poster, original image, a Mobius page from Airtight Garage. One of the greatest artists that ever worked in the comic book medium. And then you've got, I don't know Ray Moore, but I'm assuming he was the Phantom artist, maybe the creator. Paul Neary, Marvel Super Special 26, the complete 48-page story of Octopussy, based off the James Bond movie. Check out this Earl Norham original He-Man piece, which was the Monstroid painting, which I guess this was the image that was used in the possibly used as a pull-out poster. Okay, interesting. I love Earl Norham's paintings are amazing. You get a George Perez JLA, Justice League JLA cover from 2001. Spy vs. Spy, Antonio Prohias. Yeah, this thing is beautiful. I knew what you were saying, buddy. Tim Sale Long Halloween collection cover. That would be a piece. I would love a Tim Sale Batman piece. They're really expensive. Sale's up there, my top 10 or 15 artists, especially he's in my top 5 for Batman. Some Charles Schultz Peanut strips, some more, which obviously a legend and a legendary strip. The Sienkiewicz Kingpin I like, but it's not something I think I would go after just because it doesn't look like what I love his Kingpin to be. But this Sienkiewicz New Mutants 25 Legion piece is amazing. And then you get a Barry Smith, aka Barry Windsor Smith, Cull of Atlantis cover. Unbelievable. Just on the trade dress alone. Yeah, for the most part, you don't see Batman pages go for cheap. Calvin and Hobbes pages, I think, are actually more expensive than Peanuts pages. Bill Watterson. I think Watterson's stuff goes for crazy money over Schultz, and I'm not sure why. When I was younger, I used to think it was Calvin and Hobbes, which is funny. Check out the prelim on the Barry Windsor Smith Marvel Comics Presents 76. This is an unpublished cover, I should say. And then this Tom Sutton, Ernie Chan, Doctor Strange piece. Look at that. Look at that. Look at me. Look at me. I think so. I think I've seen Watterson stuff go for more. Maybe there's less of it out there. Either way, you're paying a premium for both of them. It's because Hobbs isn't licensed out for anything, no merch, nothing. So that makes sense. That also makes sense. Like, where else are you going to get the art? Yeah, hell yeah. Barry Windsor Smith, Weapon X. I don't know if you guys heard, but Barry Windsor Smith suffered a stroke very recently. Apparently, he is resting. He is comfortable. I think he's out of the ICU. But sending good vibes out to Barry Windsor Smith, one of the greatest artists of all time, period. So you get a page for Mad Love, and if the Comic Link auction is any indication of what these Harley pages go for, this is the second appearance, I believe, of Harley Quinn. Actually, I can't remember if it's the second appearance. Anyway, it's the most famous Harley Quinn story, and Bruce Timm. I really want a Bruce Timm piece, but I'm waiting for I'm waiting to get one that I really love. There's a an Alex Toth cover piece. Frank Frazetta, Milton Caniff, Jim Davis, Trina Robbins, Charles Schultz, Wally Wood, and numerous others. The Adventures Decade and remarked and autographed. So this is like a book remarked and signed by all of those names. That's crazy. This thing's going to go for thousands. Stan Lee's in here, Frank Bruner, Vaughn Baudet. This thing's going to be some money. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I feel like I remember seeing Watterson stuff sell for a fuck ton of money. More money than Schultz. I love that turn of phrase, a fuck ton. Wally Wood and Al Sirius, House of Mystery 251, complete 8-page story. Yikes. All right, now we get to some Bernie. Bernie writes in calendar illustration from 1978, Warren Publications. And then some Captain Stern art. I love, his Captain Stern stuff. I've never read it, but every time I see the art, it's just super, it's super weird. And there's so much going on in some of these pieces. I kind of want one of those, but I'm going to wait. You learned that a few years ago. You wanted some nostalgia driving pieces for, okay. Interesting. That is interesting. I would never have known that. All right. So then there's some underground and alternative art, some Los Bros Hernandez, Klaus. I'd love a Klaus piece, but they also sell for a crazy amount of money. Gilbert Shelton, complete story. What do we got? We got Eileen Kaminsky Crumb. So that's Crumb's now deceased wife. That's a full story from her. That's going to sell for, I don't know, $30,000. And then we get to some of the lesser, well, not lesser, but not the premium pieces. A metric fuck ton, yeah. Armando, you know what though? There's some, if you go to a convention, you have a better shot of seeing artists that either you know or don't know and getting a little bit better deals. But yeah, this stuff is not it's not like, even commissions are not cheap. Yeah, a crap load is like, maybe like a wheelbarrow full of stuff, but a metric fuck ton is like an entire warehouse. Well, you don't want to. The thing is about what I've learned about some of this original art stuff, it's a very closed group that buys the really expensive stuff. Because there is a lot of original art out there, but there's only a finite amount of the really expensive, crazy stuff. So, yeah, this is an Art Adams Godzilla portfolio cover image, which I love. Art Adams drew some of the best Jaws and drew some of the best monsters stuff. But I bet that goes for about $5,000 or $6,000. His Emma Frost one, ooh, look at that. That's great. Like those platforms she's wearing. Sexy. Shut up, Dave. Mike Allred, True Believers Deadpool cover. I'd love to own that. The Mike Allred Harley Quinn #1. I'd love to own that. This is something. I'm not the biggest Walking Dead fan, but I will say I am going to get at some point. I do want to buy a Charlie Adler Walking Dead piece. I just think it's I read the first 101 issues. I think it's a very important comic, and I like Charlie Adler's art. It's not that far off, Mattis. I'll be challenging my CEO to a cage match. Well, dude, God help the original art world if yours truly ever, comes into, multiple millions of dollars, because I'm literally just going to buy everything I can. All right. So we've got some Ross Andrews stuff, Jim Aparo. This stuff's a little small, so I'm going to just see if there's anything that really sticks out, because I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see it. There's a Simon Bisley cover. There's a bunch of Simon Bisley pieces. This is cool. This Brian Bolland Revolver Romance special cover painting. I like that. I'd love to own a Bolland, but also very, very expensive. Yeah, so I think this is just gonna be a little too small to really show too much on the screen. But take a look at Heritage at the end of the month. You're gonna see some crazy shit go up for sale, and possibly you're gonna hear me from wherever you are in this world, lose my shit completely, whatever my piece sells for. Let's show off that one more time. I'll show off the Ghost Rider page that I'm selling in Heritage. So as you can see, this page is from Marvel Spotlight 6, the second appearance of Ghost Rider. It is illustrated by Mike Plug. It's penciled by Plug and inked by Frank Chiaramonte. And it's a Johnny Blaze transforming into Ghost Rider page. You got more Ghost Rider on this page than you do Johnny Blaze. And so that's going live. Sorry, let me fix this. That's going live at, well, it's live now. But it goes up to live bidding where it ends, and that's where the real stuff happens, and that happens on the 22nd of this month. So, but back to me. That's what you came here to see. The DAVE. I like to look at a new artist, get original art for an affordable price, and see if it pays off later. Because that's the thing, There are some artists you can get affordable stuff at, but the problem is, Sean, as we get further away in time, you're going to have less original art out there because a lot of guys are working digitally. A lot of people are working digitally. I have 2 artists on my current list that I want to get, or my current artist list. I'll go over that in a sec. I bet there's some unreleased sets that have their original art already sold but can't move until the card sets for sure. Actually, I know that for a fact that what you were saying is very truthfully accurate. Yeah, Tyler, that becomes a problem because when they charge your credit card for $25,000 and they come after you with litigation, it's going to be bad. Don't do that. And then, so Pisker doesn't really sell his original art. He only has sold some pages through Sotheby's. I would love a piece of Ed's, and Jim, I would love a piece. I know he sells some stuff, but he doesn't really do it unless it's at a convention. I will eventually meet him and try and buy a piece if I ever see one of Jim's, for sure. No, unfortunately, Lamar, crumb pieces are in the 50 to 100,000 range, or 30 to 100,000 range. Like the story that he moved to France and got his house there, the mansion, he sold like 2 of his sketchbooks for millions of dollars. So yeah, I wish I would just like to meet him, but yeah. Nothing, Jon Snow. But yeah, I have 2 more current artists on my list that I want to get, and it's one is very unobtainable at this point, Trad Moore. His pages go for thousands because he doesn't do a lot of work. And then I would like to own a Peach Momoko piece because as much as I'm not like I don't love all of her covers, her original art in person, and I haven't seen it. I've only seen like one piece physically in person. But I've been on a couple pieces. It's stunning because she uses water, she paints. And so her artwork, original artwork, is absolutely stunning. And she's one of the very few people that I can think of like superstar artists that are really still doing not much digital. I have a bunch of Otley pages. I'm going to keep buying Ryan Otley pages when they come up from Invincible because it was 100. He did 100 and something issues. And other than that, Larson, I want to get a page. I would love a Barry, like some of the artists that I know I can't get. I don't think I'll ever own a Barry Windsor Smith page. I don't think I'll ever own a Kirby page. I will probably get a Kirby original piece, but it won't be a published page because the published pages are just a little too out of hand. But there's a lot of production art that he did that's available, and I actually bid on 2 of those pieces at the Comic Link auction, but I didn't win them because I wanted to just push for the McFarlane. The Kayfabe guys both built their TMNT runs for roughly $1 per book, which I thought, yeah, I mean, look, I built my TMNT run for probably around, like a crazy little amount. Oh, awesome. How is her? Oh, well, you just send me a picture of it in the DMs. I'd like to see it. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't love Peach when I first started seeing her work everywhere because I think it was more everybody was just hyping her to the moon. And then when I kind of stepped back and I was like looking at her artwork, I was like, I actually really do like this. But yeah, there's you know, I really want a Ron Lim page from Thanos Quest, which I bid on at the Comic Link auction, but it went for more than I paid for the Todd page, so I'm okay with not winning that one. But got a friend in here that has a Ron Lim page, and Silvestri, I would love one of his Batman pages from his recent run. And I'm trying to think of what other specific artists that I really would love. There's so many that are out of hand. I can't afford a Johnny Craig EC page. That's just not going to happen. Or a Ghastly Graham Ingalls page. But and then some stuff I don't even think about that I'm looking for, and then I'll see it up on auction. I'll be like, oh, I really need to have that. Like I didn't know I wanted a Bruce Timm piece until I started looking at Bruce Timm artwork, like his originals. And now I'm kind of really dying to get a Bruce Timm piece. And I don't even know if I want a Batman piece. He does. I mean, in my eyes, he's like the greatest pinup artist of the last 30 years, 35 years. And I don't, like pinup art's not usually my thing. I love Dave Stevens and, I love looking at it, but it's not stuff I strive to own. But now I really want a Bruce Timm pinup piece. You're right. I probably wouldn't. Don't you wish you had jumped on art? I mean, yes and no. You can't really look at it that way because I wasn't thinking about it then. I wish I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish it was a baller. I wish I had a girl and I could call her. But I did own a couple of pages and I sold them because I'm an idiot and I'm an asshole. So I don't want to talk about the Trad Moore page that I used to have, or about the Guy Davis BPRD page I used to have. I don't want to talk about it. Mignola, I'd love to have a Mike Mignola Hellboy page, but that's also very expensive. One day I might get one though, because there's a lot out there, because he drew that book for years. All right, I'll take a look at it in a moment. I'll take a look at it after the show. No. How do I feel about Frazetta? Absolutely love Frazetta. Frazetta is one of those artists I can't afford. If I found a piece in a collection, I would never let it go. I would never sell it. I think Frank Frazetta is, in the last 70 years, one of the most influential artists. Full stop. Not comic artists. I wish I had invested in Real Estate Crisis when I was. I wish I would have invested in sugarcane in Colombia, or cane. Forget it. I mean, these days, I wish I would have invested in a bulletproof vest, but anywho, that's just bad taste. But yeah, this stuff's super fascinating to me. And I can, once again, we'll say what I always say about this. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Don't even try and buy it, because it is a slippery slope. I started with buying those two pages, the Silvestri Spawn and the Benitez Silvestri. And now last week I paid $6,000 for a Todd McFarlane page. So, it's a very slippery slope, because once you get one, you're like, oh, it does become relative. Like if you can afford it, you'll start to be like, oh, $3,000 for that page is not a lot of money, but it is if you're not buying original art. I wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" Paula. Exactly. I wish I wouldn't have invested in crypto. Well, that's something that it never calculated for me. So I still don't fucking understand non-existent money. I keep getting targeted as for Frazetta LOTR portfolio. I think I saw that too recently. Dude, Frazetta, man, he's in another universe. Yeah, if I had invested in fucking Marvel when I told my dad that I wanted to invest in Marvel when I was in like 8th grade, I probably would have had a bunch of money. Slippery slope. Be careful. There's a lot of Astroglide when it comes to original art. Anywho. So yeah, anybody out there in this chat room have anything they want to ask me or anything to ask? Yeah. So next week is West Coast Wednesday as usual. Sundave sit down as usual. The following week, no Wednesday and probably no Sundave sit down. I am tabling at SummerCon in Washington. It's a 3-day show. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. That will occupy that entire week for me, getting ready for that. And then after that, I will do a Wednesday, and it'll be my last Wednesday. So that last Wednesday in June is my last Wednesday until the end of July. I am going to the UK. I am going to try, and I will keep you guys I'll keep you guys in the know. I'm going to try to do Sundave sit down from the road in London and then in Scotland. It'll probably be during the day on Sunday afternoon. Actually, I would love to hear from everybody. I would love to hear from everybody in the chat what they prefer. I'm going to take a poll, but what they prefer, like Sunday afternoon or maybe like, I don't know. If I have to move Sunday sit down around, what time of day on the weekend is good for people? I'm going to try and film and post some content from the con. When is X-Men 97 actually coming out? Because totally excited for it, but there's no release date. You're going to be there. Oh, awesome. Make sure. Well, please definitely come by and say hi. And a little secret to anybody that meets me in person. If you sing the West Coast Avengers theme, you get a free prize. West Coast Avengers. You don't have to be like that on key. Dump some tea in there, Harbor's just oh, the motherland. Am I doing MentalCon? No, I'm not. I was not invited. I don't know much about it, but I can tell you this. And I don't like their logo. If you're doing a mental health con and your logo includes a blood splatter, I think you're sending mixed messages. Just saying. We will all have fat wallets when you get back. Well, thanks, Bigby. I hope so. I mean, look, I'm going to be doing some heavy comic hunting in the UK. I already kind of have some ideas of what I want to do, but I haven't done enough research yet. And then in Scotland, I've already found 6 or 7 comic stores. I'm going to be primarily looking for UK stuff, whether it's Warrior Magazine, whether it's, 2000 AD, some of the newspaper stuff that, with the multiple stories, but I'm going to be, primarily looking for vintage UK stuff you can't find over here, Pence copies, all that stuff. All right. So I'll probably do it Sunday afternoon because for the UK is 7 or 8 hours ahead. I think London is 8 hours ahead of where I am now. So if I'm doing it at 10 o'clock at night UK time, it's going to be mid-afternoon West Coast, and then it'll be a little bit closer to night for the East Coast. But most of you guys are West Coast. Tyler isn't, but Sunday afternoon chilling. That's great. I'm excited. I'm going to be doing it. Yeah, Tyler, man, I got to say, it is kind of weird. They're supposed to be doing this mental health thing. And it's and here's so Tyler, you're former service member. They're raising money for the Wounded Warrior Project, and their fucking logo is a blood splatter. There is nothing more synonymous than blood. Wounded Warriors. Anyway, it's dumb. It's dumb. And I know people have said stuff to them about the logo, and they're just kind of oh, well, it's too late. We got the design. It's just, I don't know. I have nothing against those guys personally, but that's what you're showing me is the logo is a blood splatter. Anyway, that is true. We'll see that next week. Big B is guest starring a cameo in the episode next week. All right. So it's 8 hours. Right. So Andrew, right. So it's almost 9 o'clock for me here. So it's 5 o'clock in the morning there. If I were to start at like 7 o'clock in the morning there. It's going to be a little bit too late for people to watch on the East Coast. So I think I'll do the Sundave sit downs live from the UK at like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock UK time, which will put it in the afternoon, both the East and West Coast here in this country. I didn't know that they made UK Marvel cards, but yeah, I'm going to be, Armando, I'm going to be looking for anything comic related that is something that I can't find here. Yeah, it's bad, Tyler. It's bad. Would it kill them just to have a comic booky logo? Well, yeah, or if you're going to have a mental, like it's called Mental Con, it could just have, doesn't have to have a logo that's not other than a text design. Yeah, I know. Tyler, I think you know this about me. I used to work in the nonprofit sector for 12 years. And the bigger the charity, the less work that they do that really helps people. Yeah. I mean, it's a gray area, actually. There's some that are really, really big that are really good. Time zone math is the worst. Oh, especially like when you're trying to account for East Coast and West Coast and another time zone. Oh, yeah. Pence variance, of course. Yeah. It'll be, funny story. The last, not the last time, but I did 2 lengthy trips in the UK in 2016 and 2019. And when I was there in 2016, I was still buying comics and collecting comics, but I wasn't really looking for anything particular. And I walked by a thrift store, and outside the kind of their thrift store or charity shop, which is what they call it, there was like a little rack that it wasn't a spinner rack. It was just like a magazine book rack. And there were some comics. So I just started flipping through the comics, and I found an Eternals 1 and 2. And this is way before they even announced anything happening with the MCU and Eternals. And so I just knew it as a, classic Jack Kirby book. And they were Pence variants. And I bought them for like $2 each, like £1 each or something. And I brought them home, and I ended up putting them on my Etsy shop because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't really collecting a lot of old stuff. I was just selling it. I would buy it and then I would sell it. And I sold it for so cheap, dude. So cheap. They weren't like minty copies, but I probably got like $15 for the pair. But back then, nobody gave a shit. They were still like in dollar boxes, legit dollar boxes. Do Mark Schuler Pence variants exist? Is that a thing? Does anybody know if that exists? Because if it does, I'm going to find them. I do need to see if there was ever Tyler, I don't know if you know. Was there ever an American? There has to be an American military base in England, right? We're allies for 150, 200 something years. But yeah, Australia is a day ahead, 100%. Because I don't think he's in here. But if Rohan was in here, our Aussie friend, he would say, Aussie, 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 hey. Truffles. Yeah, I am a truffle hunter. Anyway, so I'm really excited for that. I hope wherever I am that I can do a stream and that Wi-Fi works. If not, I'll be posting stuff. I'll be posting updates and try to do live when I can. Because I want to share it with you. This trip's going to be great. It's literally, I'm going for 3 reasons, okay? The overall arc of it is to take a vacation in a place that I love. I'm going to see one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm going to see Blur play Wembley Stadium. And that's going to be a giant fucking great time. And then one of my friends is going to meet me there with his other friend. And then Scotland, I'm doing by myself, but I have a lot of friends in Scotland. But I'm really going to just like experience, comic hunting there and film it and create content as well as take a vacation. So there was back in the days of World War I and II, but yeah, I don't think there was one. I mean, Vietnam would be, you want Vietnam or Desert Storm, because I want to say Mark Jewelers came in at the end of the Vietnam War, maybe the beginning of the Korean War. Well, Big B, I'll be back. I'll be back. Comic Tim in a kilt. Oh, God. You really want me to get stoned to death, don't you? I would like you to look for the lady in the lake and become the new king of England. Actually, I'm going to be taking over the castle in Edinburgh, and then I'll go to Stirling and yell freedom. Most Scottish people actually hate the movie Braveheart because it's like historically inaccurate. But yeah, last time I was there was I've been to one of the castles that they used in Game of Thrones, and then I'm staying. They turn a lot of castles into bed and breakfasts at hotels. And last time I was there in 2019, I stayed in two different castles. I just booked to stay in a castle outside of St. Andrews. But last time I was there in 2019, I went to like a handful of comic book stores in both London and Scotland. But my focus was different. I was trying to buy like local independent stuff, and I brought home some independent, but this time it's going to be, I might have to bring or buy an extra suitcase if I end up buying as many comics as I normally do when I go on a trip. Comic Tim searching for the lock. Hey man, does anybody know where Nessie? Oh God, Comic Tim's going to be in Scotland. Oh yes, he is. Kiss a Rock, but not Kid Rock. Have I seen the military editions of comics that are a bit smaller? Yes, actually, Big B. I found a Captain America one in that collection I bought recently, and I sent it to Tyler. They're like the exchange, they're called, or something like that. I just, yep, there we go. There it is. Just a second behind, but I am right there with you. So yeah, that I'm really excited for that. We'll talk more about that trip. I did want to ask. There's 15 of you in here. I assume a lot of you will return as you usually do. But next Sundave, I was thinking about kind of just doing a thing where we talk about our favorite books. Like, I would like to hear from you all by next week of your favorite storylines, your favorite graphic novels, your favorite things to read. I'm going to make a list. I'm going to compile a list, and I'm going to start picking from that for book club, because I want to read some stuff that either I've never read before or stuff that, we have some stuff in common. But I would like to hear from you. We'll do this next week. Maybe I'll get somebody on as a guest and we could talk about our favorite books to read. But yeah, I really want to get into some comic book discussion this month. This was a lot of fun today to go talk about original art, because I'm learning a lot on the fly, and I know a lot of you in here aren't original art people, but want to know more about it. So why don't we do that? But we'll do that next week. I know what you're saying there, Armando. This is a very funny thing. Before the movie came out, years before the movie, I picked up all the graphic novels that encompass the entire Age of Apocalypse. Have you ever read the whole thing? Because it's fucking daunting. It's like 56 comics or something like that. Something crazy. It's wild. You saw a few on your last time, but didn't pick them up. Yeah, I don't think they're expensive or worth a lot, but they are pretty interesting. Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about that next week. I'm totally down. Totally down. Hello, Carrie. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. It's almost over, but it's nice to see you. But let's watch the Todd video one more time. You guys ready for the Todd remix? That was, so this was going to be the original introduction for the video I dropped this morning. But I didn't want to get pegged with a copyright infringement, and so I didn't include this. But let's do this. Todd the Todd Father. Todd talks. Todd talks.
Todd, you're indoors. Why you got sunglasses on?
Anyway, you got two of each, you crazy person. Whole run of 62 issues. Yeah, I mean, sure, we could talk about the Turtles, but we'd have to do that piece by piece. Have these 6 minutes left. All right. Well, we'll get some guests on to talk about their favorite books next week, and we'll have a little jamboree, so I could do a little bit less talking. It's it is a lot to talk straight for 2 hours. Oh, well, I appreciate it. I do want to give a little Sometimes it's easier. Todd, beg forgiveness. I do want to give a little call to action. I asked people this morning, and a lot of you did. Please, if you could repost the posts about this Todd episode from this morning, tag Todd at Todd McFarlane, tag at McFarlane Comics Official, tag his editor Thomas Healy. I want to try and get, if a lot of people keep tagging them and people associated with Todd see it, they might put Todd's eyes on it, because I've heard through the grapevine that Todd has actually reached out to certain YouTube podcasts to be a guest on it. So if Todd sees this and that's the end goal, also, I if you could go into Mattis, maybe you could do it. I tried posting it, no response, but McFarlane Discord, anywhere on Reddit that you post, or if there's any place on Facebook you post that Todd video. I really want to get as many eyes on the video from this morning as possible. It's doing really well, and I try not to look at the metrics. Okay, who am I fucking kidding? I look at the metrics way too much, but the video is performing really well. I think it's also, there's a lot of new eyes on the channel from the last couple of videos, the flea market stuff, and I want to say thank you also to anybody that's a new subscriber. But I really want to get as many eyes on this as I possibly can, because it's going to be a series. And obviously anybody who watches this channel already knows I love Todd. So, yeah, well, look, I got to say this, as much as I don't like Comic Tom and his agenda, the Todd interview that he did is fantastic. And it's one of the better Todd interviews I've actually seen. It's very possible that I get a restraining order. I didn't book a flight to Arizona yet, but I might. Thank you, Mattis. But yes, repost it, tag Todd, tag McFarlane Comics Official, all that stuff. He is. Well, and that's the thing. Like, what would be more fitting for Todd than a quarterly segment on this show called Todd Talk? Literally, he could talk about whatever he wants. I'll just be here like, hi. To be fully honest, though, if I do get him on the channel, it will not be a live interview. I love everybody in here, but being distracted by the comments would be a little too much for me. Plus, I just want to, I want to be focused. Stand outside his house with a boombox, like say anything. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty much what I had for tonight. I really appreciate you guys coming through. We had a lot of people in the room tonight, and we got to look at some of this stuff. And by next week, y'all need to have seen Spider-Verse so I can talk spoilers. Okay. You're already in the McFarlane fan. See, there you go. There you go, Manus. Man Crush Madness. It's Man Flesh. Meat's back on the menu, boys. Say anything, Todd. Exactly. Oh, thanks, Dan. How you doing, my friend? Hope you enjoyed that little treasure hunt. All right, everybody. So that's your homework. Please, 2 things. Promote the Todd episode from this morning, and then think about your favorite books that you want to suggest about next week. And we'll have a couple of friends on. We'll talk about some of our favorite books, and that'll be that. And I'll see you on Wednesday for West Goes Wednesday. And then I'll see you soon. But thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Always a pleasure. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and have a great week. Love you too, Biggs. Love you too, Tyler. And you know what time it is. Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
Sunday, sit down. Oh.